Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabram Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shalom friends. Today we will start from chapter 7 of first book, Detachment of Yog Vasishtha. After the illustrious Vishwamitra had heard the unusually lengthy speech from the lion among kings, his hairs stood erect with joy. He said, "This speech is worthy of you, O best of kings on earth, and one descended from a royal race and guided by sage Vasishtha himself. Consider well, O king, the deed which I have in my mind, and support the cause of virtue. I am employed, O chief of men, in religious acts for attainment of my consummation. But the horrible Rakshas demons have become my great obstructions. Whenever I offer sacrifices to the gods at any place, instantly these nocturnal demons appear to destroy my sacrificial rites. On very many occasions, when I commence my ceremonies, the Rakshas chiefs fling heaps of flesh and blood on the sacrificial ground. Being thus obstructed in my sacrificial duties, I now come to you with a broken spirit, having labored in vain to complete the rites. The woes of the rite prevent me from giving vent to my anger by curses. Such being the sacrificial law, I expect by your favor to gain its great object in peace. Being thus oppressed, I have recourse to your protection, and you should protect me. Otherwise, it is an insult for petitioners to be disappointed by the best of men as yourself. You have a son, the beautiful Rama, powerful as fierce tiger, and strong as the great Indra himself. He is able to destroy the Rakshas. May you now deliver that Ram, your oldest son, to me, having his youthful locks of hair like the black plumage of a crow, but possessing the true valor of a hero. Protected under my sacred authority, and by his prowess, he will be able to sever the heads of the malicious Rakshas. I will do him an infinity of good services, whereby in the end he will become adored by the inhabitants of all three worlds. The night wandering Rakshas cannot abide in the field before Ram, but must fly like stags in the wilderness before a furious lion. No man other than Ram can make bold to fight with Rakshas, just as no animal other than a furious lion can stand to fight wild elephants. Elated with their strength, these vicious beings have become like poison sharp in fighting. Being delegates of the demons Khar and Dushan, they are as furious as death itself. They cannot, O tiger among kings, be able to sustain the arrows of Ram, but must settle like flying dust under the ceaseless showers of his arrows. Let not paternal affection prevail over you, O king, as there is nothing in this world which the high-minded will refuse to part with. I know it for certain, and so you should also know that the Rakshasa must be destroyed by him. Wise men like ourselves will never undertake an uncertainty. I well know the great soul of the lotus-eyed Ram, and so does the illustrious Vasishtha, and all others who are far-seeing. Should the senses of greatness, duty, and renown have a seat in your soul, you should deliver my desired object to me, your son. I will take 10 nights to perform the rites of my sacrifice, during which Ram shall have to stay with me and kill the Rakshas who are obnoxious to my rites and the enemies of the sacrifice. O King Dasharata, let the ministers headed by Vasishtha join and give their assent and deliver your Ram to me, O descendant of Raghu. You know that auspicious times must not be allowed to slip away. You must not allow my time to slip. So may I have Ram? Be blessed and don't give way to sorrow. Even the smallest services, if done in good time, appears to be much, and the best service is of no avail if done out of season. Vishwamitra, the illustrious and holy chief of the sages, paused after saying these words, filled with virtuous and useful intention. Hearing these words, the great sage, the magnanimous king held his silence for some time with a view to prepare a fitting answer, because no man of sense is ever satisfied with talking unreasonably either before others or to himself. Now let us with this end the chapter 7. Now we go to chapter 8. Valmiki further added, on hearing Vishwamitra's word, Dasharata, the tiger among kings, remained speechless for a moment and then implored him from the lowliness of his spirit. Ram, my lotus-eyed boy, is only 15 years of age. I do not see he is a match for the Rakshas. He is a full Akshoni legion. Here is a full Akshoni legion of my soldiers, of whom, O my lord, I am the sole commander. Surrounded by them, I will offer battle to the Rakshas cannibals. Here are my brave generals who are well disciplined in warfare. I will be their leader in the height of war with my bow in hand. Accompanied with these, I can offer fight to the enemies of the gods and to the great Indra himself, in the same manner as the lion withstands wild elephants. Ram is only a boy with no knowledge of the strength of our forces. His experience has scarcely stretched beyond the inner apartments to the battlefield. He is not well trained in arms, nor is he skilled in warfare. He doesn't know to fight an enemy arrayed in the order of battle. He only knows how to walk about in the gardens of this city, amidst trees and pleasant groves. He only knows how to play with his brother princes in the flowery parks set apart for his play within the precincts of this palace. Recently, O Brahmin, by said reverse of my fortune, he has become as lean and pale. Recently, O Brahman, by a sad reverse of my fortune, he has become as lean and pale as the withering lotus under the dews. He has no taste for his food, nor can he walk from one room to another, but remains ever silent and slow brooding over his inner grief and melancholy. O chief of sages, in my great anxiety about him, I, together with my family and dependents, have been deprived of the gift of our bodies and become like the empty clouds of autumn. How can my boy, so young as he is, and in such an unnatural state of mind, be fit to fight at all, much less with those marauders who rove about at night? O high-minded sage, it is one's affection for his son that affords him far greater pleasure than his possession of a kingdom, or his connection with beautiful women, or even his relish for the juice of nectar. It is from paternal affection that good people perform the hardest duties and austerities of religion and anything which is painful in the three worlds. Men are even prepared under certain circumstances to sacrifice their own lives, riches, and wives, but they can never sacrifice their children. This is the nature of all living beings. The Rakshas are very cruel in their actions and fight deceitful warfare. The idea that Ram should fight them is very painful to me. I have a desire to live. I cannot dare to live for a moment separated from Ram. Therefore, you should not take him away. O descendant of Kaushik, I have passed 9,000 reigns in my lifetime before these four children were born to me. After much austerity, I mean, please not here, 9,000 reigns in my lifetime. So, this Ramayana is of a period when human beings used to live so long. The lotus eyed Ram is the eldest of these, without whom the three others can hardly bear to live. You are going to deliver this Ram against the Rakshas, but when I am deprived of that son, know me certainly for dead. Of my four sons, he is one in whom rests my greatest love. Therefore, don't take away Ram, my eldest and most virtuous son, for me. If your intention, O sage, is to destroy the force of night wanderers, take me there, accompanied by the elephants, horse, chariots, and foot soldiers of my army. Describe to me clearly what these Rakshas are, how strong they are, whose son they be, and what are their sizes and figures. Tell me the way in which the Rakshas are to be destroyed by Ram, or by my children, or by me. Tell me when they are known to be treacherous in warfare. O great sage, tell me all this, so that I can calculate the possibility of making a stand in the open field against the fiercely disposed Rakshas, when they are certainly so powerful. The Rakshas named Ravana is heard to be very powerful. He is brother of Kuber himself, and he is the son of sage Vishrava. If it is he, the evil-minded Ravan, who stands in the way of four rights, we are unable to contend with that pest. Power and prosperity in all their flourish come within the reach of living at times, but they disappear at others. These days we are no match for such foes as Ravan and some others. Such is the decree of destiny. Therefore, O you who are acquainted with law, do this favor for my son, unlucky as I am. It is you who are the arbiter of my fate. The gods, Asur, Gandharv, Yaksh, huge beasts, birds, and serpents are unable to fight with Ravan. What are we human beings in arms to him? That Rakshas has the prowess of the most powerful. We cannot afford to fight with him, or even with his children. This is a peculiar age in which good people are made powerless. Moreover, I am disabled by old age and lack that spirit, even though I am from the race of the Raghus. O Brahmin, tell me if it is Lavan, the son of Madhu, who disturbed the sacrificial rites. In that case also I will not part with my son. If it be the two sons of Sund and Apsund who disturb your sacrifice, terrible as they are like the sons of the sun, in that case also I will not give my son to you. But after all, O Brahmin, should you snatch him from me, then I am also dead and gone with him. I don't see any other chance of lasting success of your devotion. Saying these gentle words, the descendant of Raghu was drawn in the sea of suspense with regard to the demand of the sage. Being unable to arrive at a conclusion, the great king was carried away by the current of his thought as won by the high waves of the sea. With this, chapter 8 ends. Should we take chapter 9 now? Here, Vishwamitra gets angry and Vashisht gives advice. Valmiki said, on hearing this speech of the king with his piteous look and eyes full of tears, Vishwamitra, the son of Kaushik, became highly incensed and replied, you are about to break your promise after pledging yourself to its performance. And thus you wish to behave like a deer after having been a lion. This is unbecoming of the race of Raghu. It is acting contrary to this great family. Hot rays must not proceed from the cool beamed moon. If you are so weak, O king, let me return as I came. Live happily with your friends. You promised breaking descendant of Kakustha? As the high spirit Vishwamitra moved with anger, the earth trembled under him, and the gods were filled with fear. Vashisht, the meek and wise, observant of his woes, knowing that anger influenced the great sage and friends of the world, spoke, O king, born of the race of the Ikshvaku, a form of virtue itself, and called Dasharata the fortunate, you are adorned with all the good qualities known in 3 words. You are famous for your meekness and strict adherence to your vows. You are renowned in all 3 worlds for your virtues and fame, You cannot break your promise. Preserve your virtue and think not to break your promise. Comply with the request of the sage who is honored in all the three words. Having said you will do it, if you retract from your promise, you lose the object of your yet unfulfilled desires. Therefore, let Ram depart from you, descended from the race of Ikshvaku, and being Dasharata yourself. If you fail to perform your promise, who else on earth will ever keep his word? It is the standard of conduct of great men like you that makes even low people afraid to transgress the bounds of their duties. How then do you wish to violate it yourself? Guarded by this lion like men, like ambrosia by fire, no Rakshas will have power to prevail over Ram, whether he be equipped and armed or not. Behold, Vishwamitra is the personification of virtue, the mightiest of the mighty and superior to all in the world in his intelligence and devotion to asceticism. He is skilled in all warlike arms that are known in the three words. No other man knows them so well, nor shall ever be able to master them like him. Among the gods, sages, Asur, Rakshas, Nagas, Yaksh, and Gandharvas, there is none equal to him. In days gone past, when this son of Kaushik used to rule over his realm, he was furnished with all the arms by Kirsaswar, and which no enemy can baffle. These arms were the progeny of Kirsaswar and were equally radiant and powerful as the progeny of Prajapati, and followed him. Now Daksh had two beautiful daughters, Jaya and Supraja, who had 100 offsprings that are invincible in war. Of these, the favored Jaya gave birth to 50 sons, who are implacable agents of the destruction of Asura forces. In like manner, Supraja gave birth to 50 sons of very superior qualities, very powerful and terrible in their appearance, and indomitably aggressive. Thus Vishwamitra is strengthened and grown powerful. He is acknowledged in three words as a sage. You therefore must not think otherwise than to deliver Rama to him. This mighty and virtuous man and prince of sages, being near anyone in his presence, even one at the point of death, is sure to attain his immortality. Therefore, be not disheartened like an unconscious man. With this ends chapter 9, and we should take now the chapter 10.